Very glary. Hey lovely viewers, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be my April book haul. So even though this is my April book haul, I actually have purchased absolutely no books in the month of April. Very proud of myself. I've spent money on other things lately, but that's for another video. In the meantime though, all of these books were actually purchased last month, and I think I told you guys that book haul was going to be way too big if I had put them all in the one haul. So that, and I was planning on trying to spend less money on books, so I went ahead and split it up, and this is the other half of it that I'm showing to you now. What a very long explanation. The first two I want to show you are white covers, and I just want to get them over with because they always, you know, mess with the lighting, and I have no like fancy filters to make it better, so I apologize. I'm super excited for these because I had been waiting for them to come out and I didn't know when they came out. I decided one day that I would check to see if they had, and they did, so I bought them. And that is the split up UK edition copies of Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Stormlight Archive series, and I was waiting for the copy where it was the two-part because they had like the one big copy, but I already have book one in the two split up parts, so I figured I should probably get book two in the split up parts. And I haven't even started this series yet, so I figured I could wait around until those came out, and they did. So we have part one and part two, which I really like the cover on this one, but I have no idea what this series is actually about, but I cannot wait to get to it because I loved Mistborn and it was amazing, and I need to get into another Brandon Sanderson, so I wanted to get into this one hopefully very soon. I apologize in advance too. Lately, I've been trying to do research on books that I buy ahead of time for you guys so that I have something to say about them, but almost all of these I purely bought off of booktube recommendations from other hauls or other booktubers talking about them, or just me going, ha, this sounds good, I'm gonna buy it, and then when it came in, I kind of forgot what they were about, so hopefully I like them because I bought them. And this next one is The Emperor's Blades by Brian Staveley, and this is an author that I've heard many good things about recently, and that is why I picked this one up. All I know is that it is about an emperor who gets killed and his 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter, escape and run away, and I don't know any more than that, if it's about how they get the kingdom back or live other paths. I don't know. But it sounds really cool. I absolutely love the cover on this book, and that was another big reason why I decided to purchase this. I don't know why my mind went here, but lately Brian's been playing the newer Final Fantasy game on his Xbox, and this just reminded me of a chocobo, so that was another reason. Not really. Okay. The next one I have here is Bright of the Sky by Kay Kenyon, which is book one of The Entire and the Rose. Alright. Another author that's very well known, mostly for her sci-fi stuff. This is kind of like sci-fi meets fantasy in a really weird way. I don't know how to explain it because I don't even exactly understand it myself, but I am excited to read this, and I've heard many wonderful things about Kay Kenyon, so I cannot wait to get into this book. I also picked up another graphic novel, and that one is Rat Queens by Curtis J. Webb and Rock Upchurn. I don't know if I said that correctly, but I have been hearing wonderful things about this graphic novel, and I actually, again, purchased it last month and decided to wait to haul it in this month. Because I decided to wait to haul it, I decided to wait to read it, if that makes sense, and I've been actually wanting to pick this one up really badly because I've heard it's got amazing diverse female main leads, and I'm all about that, so that is right up my alley, and I will definitely be reading this. I've read the first book of the two that I'm going to show you next already, like last year sometime, and I contemplated whether I wanted to buy the expensive hardcover copies or just wait for the mass paperbacks, and I decided to go ahead and go with the mass paperbacks because although I really enjoyed it, it's not my favorite series of all time, so I decided the mass paperbacks would be better. And those books are book 1 and book 2 in the Others series, I think is what this is called. So you have Written in Red and Murder of Crows by Anne Bishop. Like I said, although it was not my favorite read, I am very interested in getting to the second book and discovering how Meg and Simon's relationship grows, because I did like the romance in here, or there wasn't really romance. There was a slow growing relationship in this book, and I like slower growing relationships in books, and not like I'm suddenly in love with you and it's only been like 2 seconds since I've known you. And so yes, I also really like relationships where they hate each other but they secretly like each other, or they hate each other but don't know that they're actually attracted to each other or haven't realized it yet. And those are my favorite relationships to read about. So that is another reason why I really like this one, because they kind of reluctantly come together and it's awesome. So yeah. Moving back into books that I can tell you nothing about because I am me. If you know things about these books, feel free to tell me, or tell me which one I should read, because honestly, this is what I do sometimes, and I don't do it very often. I just go on Goodreads, look at like top high fantasy list or top whatever list I'm into at the moment, and right now obviously it's fantasy. So I just basically went on a list, looked up the top whatever amount of high fantasy, and I just purchased like a butt ton of them. So that is why I know nothing about these. And the next one being House of Blades by Will White, which is book 1 in the Traveler's Gate trilogy. This is more like an indie fantasy novel. Our main character's name is Simon, and something about his family and friends being killed or taken or something, and some kind of prophecy. You know, the typical fantasy. Yeah. And the last but not last book, the last like bigger book that I have, and then we go into like a small stack of math paperbacks, is Ruins of the Earth by Stephen R. Donaldson. This is the last chronicles of Thomas Covenant, and I think it's book 1. Hopefully. I don't know. I don't think this is book 1. Please tell me. Someone tell me. I have a small stack of math paperbacks here. And the first one is Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind. Now, I know nothing about this book, but I have heard amazing, fantastic things that this is one of the best epic fantasies that you'll ever read, blah, 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 blah. And Terry Goodkind is super popular, and I need to read it, and it's very, very thick, but I have lately been loving humongous books, so I've been not avoiding YA fantasy, just not in the mood to read it right now. Then I picked up Wild Cards 1. This is a collection of short stories edited by George R. R. Martin with a lot of steampunk and magic elements, and I'm excited to read it. I recently read Airborne by Kenneth Oble, and I thought it was okay, but I liked the concept of airships and steampunky things, and so I picked this one up because it's got an airship in the back and he kind of looks steampunky-ish, not really. The next two I've just seen a lot on a lot of booktubers channels. I think they're doing a read-along for this next one, or someone's doing a buddy reads. I honestly have not really looked into it, and that is Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson, A Tale of the Malazan, Book of the Fallen. This is the first book in this series, and it's supposed to be pretty decent. This first book has lower ratings, but I've noticed as the books go on that the ratings get higher. So I want to see and find out for myself if I'll like it or not. Don't know why I came up with that accent. And the last one I have here is Magic Bites by Ilona Andrews. This is the first book in the the Kate Daniels novels. Another urban fantasy romance, I want to say. It's super duper thin, and I almost think that's why I haven't picked it up yet, although I should just pick it up because it's short and move on to the other books, which I know are much bigger than this. I've heard a couple booktubers recently say that this is a really good series, and I want to check it out for myself and see if I agree. The cover is ugly though. We'll have to admit that. The cover is super ugly. Those are all the books that I have to show you for this month. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!